Hello, hello. Welcome to the new and the improved. The Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network. What's going on, K Walker and Jay?
All is well, all is well. It's the pilot, guys. So looking so fired up for this one, ready to go. So let's get it on.
Yeah, everything's good. I'm excited, guys. This is going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about everything. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yes. This is new. This is different for us. So, and I love the layout. The Sideline Speaks. What we say? It's our time. It's our time for the sideline to talk now. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, first and foremost, let me shout out my Phillies. I have to shout out my Philadelphia Phillies because no one had them really even having a chance to go up against the Atlanta Braves, and they went into Atlanta and they beat them 7-6. It came down to that last inning, but they took the victory. And K-Walk, I know you was the only one that was like, we'll see what's going on with your Yankees and all that.
And Britt, let me take this opportunity to jump on that bandwagon and say our Philadelphia Phillies, Britt. It's our Phillies.
Oh, so you the Eagles and the Phillies now?
That's right. That's all right. I'm
new show. Hey, new name, new show, but nothing new there though.
Let's go. All right, guys. You guys ready to talk about some sports?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So the first thing I want to get into is it's football Sunday. Can I point to it? Hopefully I get to the right side, guys. But right here, what does that say, guys? Come on, that says what?
Eagles. That's our Eagles.
It's our Eagles, right? And what week is it, guys? It's Eagles versus Dallas week. So this is the biggest rivalry for this city, and I think for Dallas as well, at least in modern day history. I know a long time ago it was the Giants, but right now it's always the Eagles versus the Dallas. But the 4-1 Cowboys are going against our 5-0, Jack. I get used to that. Our 5-0 Eagles in Philadelphia. The crowd is going to be ready. The crowd is going to be rowdy. It's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting. I think this is the one week that we look forward to the most every single year, regardless who wins. But I want to know for you guys, what are your thoughts on both these teams? And who do you think is going to pull out this victory?
Yeah, look, I think number one, you have to give a lot of credit to the Cowboys because after week one, losing Dak Prescott, it felt like the whole world was laughing at them, honestly. And for Cooper Rush to go in there, play the way that he's played, for that defense to step up the way that it has stepped up, playing like one of the better defenses in the league, I think the Cowboys deserve a ton of credit for not, when it would have been easy to just kind of let their season fall apart, I think they did a great job holding it together. But the Eagles have been fantastic. They've exceeded expectations. Obviously, the only undefeated team in football. Jalen Hurts is playing really good football, making a lot of plays, but more importantly, not making the big mistake. So I think you have to love what the Eagles have been able to do, especially offensively. I think that has surprised everyone. We knew they had some good players on defense, but how well they've played on offense, I think, has been a big surprise. Look, I don't think this is going to be an easy game for the Eagles, even though they're at home. I think Dallas's defense could pose the Eagles some problems, but there's no way I'm picking against Philly in this one. I think it'll be a tough, classic NFC East matchup. But I think when it's all said and done, the Eagles get out of there with a win.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be tight. You know, these division matchups, regardless of what each team's record is always very, very tough. But K-Walk, what do you say about the Eagles versus Dallas?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be the Stephen A on this one when it comes to the Cowboy. Like when it comes to when Stephen A is with the Cowboys, I'm gonna be like that with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna be that hater, if you will. I'm not impressed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the Eagles, man. I really am. Jalen Hurts is taking over that offense. He's commanded the offense. He's spreading the ball around. I just wish he wouldn't run so much, as a 49er fan, and I see what happened with Trey Lance. I just don't want to see, him going there. But like Jay, you kind of alluded to a few weeks ago on a different platform, but he doesn't take the unnecessary hits, if you will. He does a great job of protecting himself. So I like him, and I love the way that this team rallies around one another. They seem to be a complete team. They seem to complement themselves very well. And Jalen Hurts does, that running game with Miles Sanders there, that defense as well. Well-rounded team here for sure. Then you got the Cowboys over there, and you just don't know what you got. You thought that Cowboys were gonna fold their tents, especially when Dak Prescott went down with that thumb injury. But Cooper Rush, they're calling it the rush hour, so they're riding that rush hour right now theme. This is going to be a very interesting game because I like both of these teams' defenses, and the Cowboys' defense seems to be right up there. They're an elite team. Jay, you always allude to it. So I'm going to use your analogy here. I'm going to use your reference here is that you can't succeed without superstardom. And they have a superstar on that defense. Yeah. They really do. Michael Parsons, who's arguably the best defensive player in all of football, not just in that division or not just in the conference, but in all of football. And he's outstanding. A lot of people went down. They were holding their breath when he went down with that. I think it was a growing injury. I'm not sure exactly what injury it was, but nonetheless, and it seems like that Diggs has calmed down. He's not taking as many chances or gambling as much as he used to. So he's kind of calming himself down, allowing the game to come to him. So with all that being said, I like this team. I like this game. I like both of these teams. I'm going to take the Cowboys here, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm going to take the Cowboys here because of that defense. Strictly because of the defense. And I like the way that Ezekiel Elliott is starting to be more patient running behind that offensive line, taking his time. And then he got the complimentary Tony Pollard as well. And then you got, again, Cooper Rush is doing a great job of managing the team. He has his guy. He loves his guy, Noah Brown. He's starting to connect with CeeDee Lamb. And I don't know what Schultz's his health is going to be right now. But nonetheless, I'm going to go in the Cowboys here in a really great game. It's a Sunday night game, 27-24 Cowboys, guys. I'm sorry, Eagles fans. I know you're going to hate me right now. You always do, but nonetheless, I have to go with that pick.
You ain't sorry because you did the same thing to us in week 2 or 3.
And I was wrong, so go opposite. Go opposite. So that might be a good thing.
What happened? Might be a good thing. But here's the thing. I do believe it's going to be a very tight game. Like I said, it's a division matchup. All division matchups are close, regardless, because they know each other so well. Here's the thing. Yes, the Cowboys' defense is great. They're very great. You have Micah Parsons. You have DeMarcus Lawrence. If he's healthy. I know he had a situation last week. You still have Trayvon Diggs. I'm not a huge Trayvon Diggs fan, but he is a decent cornerback. I mean, he got 11 picks last year for a reason, but he does get burned. So the thing is, this will be the best wide receiver core that they're going up against this year thus far. By far better than the Rams. The Rams have no offensive line. I don't know what they did to that team. They completely destroyed that team when they let go of Robert Woods and OBJ. Better than the Giants. Better than the Bengals might be a little tough. So, my apologies if you guys hear an echo. I don't know. I got to figure that out. But here's the kicker. So they have to defend one of the top receiving cores along with the running back, and you have to deal with one of the top offensive lines in the league, right? So not just that, but then our defense goes up against their offense. I think Darius Slay can lock up CeeDee Lamb. I think James Bradbury could lock up Michael Gallup. And then I'm hoping Avonte Maddox, our slot corner, is back because I feel like he could lock up their tight end. The only concern I may have is our run defense, which we've been up and down all year. But in my mind, and I would never go against my team regardless, but I think the Eagles got this one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I do believe it'll be a close game. But the one thing about the Cowboys is they haven't faced any teams that have gotten pressure on Cooper Rush. How will Cooper Rush play when he starts feeling that pressure? And the Eagles have a decent front seven. So now it's all up to Jonathan Gannon the defensive coordinator to see how he'll call the defense. So that's a big question. So as an Eagles fans, I'm not gonna lie, I question that a whole lot. But I think all in all, when things come down to it, I think we have the better quarterback, we have the better offense, and our secondary is a lot better than their secondary on their defensive side of the ball. So Eagles, first of all, y'all better win this game, but I'm going with the Eagles.
You know what, Britt? Something else too, because you talked about pressure. It's going to be interesting to see if that Dallas pass rush can get to Jalen Hurts. Because if they can bother him, it'll be interesting to see how he responds. Because the Cowboys have one of the best pass rushing front seven in football. So, and I know Hurts is elusive and maybe he can kind of work around some things, but it's going to be interesting to see if they can get after him a little bit. Because if they can, we'll see how Jalen Hurts responds to pressure as well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. That pass rush is very, very tough. But our offensive line, in my opinion, is even tougher in my mind. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be a tough game. I'm going to sit there angry. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be joyful. I'm gonna be angry. I'm gonna have all the emotions all in one. Y'all know how it is. Yep. Jay, you may know how it is as a now back to being the Eagles fan.
Yep. I'm right there with you, Britt. I'm gonna be sweating it out, angry, right there with you. But I think the Eagles get it done. I think they get it done.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. But now that we talk about the Eagles and Dallas, which is the most exciting highlight of this, that will be for this week for me, outside of the Phillies, of course. We got to get into the NBA season. The NBA season starts in 1 week. I know my Sixers play the Boston the very first day, which is next Tuesday, and I know it's another big game. I think it's the Lakers. I can't remember exactly who they play.
Lakers Warriors.
So 2 great games right there on TNT. Make sure you check that out. But what I want to know is, who is your favorite team? I know, but let's let our audience find out who our favorite teams are. I mean, they kind of know from my, behind me. And what did you like most about what your team did in the off season? K-Walk, I'm coming to you first on this one.
Yeah, so you guys know. So I'm a Miami Heat guy. I'm a Miami Heat guy since LeBron was there. He brought me into it, but I had to stay even though he left. So I'm still a disgruntled, a guy who broke up with his girlfriend, to use Jay's reference. I still haven't gotten over that breakup, but nonetheless, I'm still riding with the Heat. I'm liking the way they look right now. They signed Tyler Hero to that extension. They didn't make any moves that I really liked, other than drafting the young kid, Jokic, the young kid out of Germany, I believe it is, and or Russia. I'm sorry, but nonetheless, I like him. I like the way he looks right now. They didn't make any moves. They lost PJ Tucker to your Sixers there, Britt. I think that's a huge pickup for the Sixers. I'm sad to see him go. I'm even sadder to see him go there, because that's going to be crucial. I mean, that's going to be a key piece for you guys. But I like another year under the belt for Tyler Hero. He's got that extension, so he's going to feel like he has to step his game up to earn that. I like Max Strus, the way he's playing. I watched a few preseason games right now. They're looking really good. They're looking, other than Jimmy Butler's hairstyle, I like the way they look, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm fired up for this season. I think they have a lot to prove. They were one shot away from getting to the NBA Finals. So I think they're going to be they're fired up, man, and they're going to be focused. I'm looking forward to the season for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, you know what? The Miami Heat, they're always that dangerous team every year. And it doesn't matter if they have a superstar or not. I still don't know. I have to give Jimmy Butler the respect as being a superstar in this team, because what he did last year to me was incredible. Come on, Jay. You got to give it to Jimmy Butler. He's not
all-star caliber. I'll give him star. I'm not putting super in
that's
front
what I said. Jay's not putting in superstar category.
Yeah, I think last year he had superstar. He was superstar in the playoffs last year, though. Prior to that, no, he wasn't that lights out type of guy. But last year, he took that team further. He got past us. So I gotta give him credit. But no, it's like Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, they always got that team, like the mental toughness on that team. It doesn't matter who you put on that team, it's the culture. I think they're one of the best front offices in the organization. I'm sorry, one of the best front offices in the NBA. My apologies. But yeah, I can see them being right there in the mix as well. I don't think they'll get as far as they did last year because they lost PJ Tucker, and that was a big hit. And thank goodness he decided to come over with James Harden and Joel Embiid because we need that big time. But yeah, that's a good team over there. K Walk.
Yeah, and for me, Britt, it's the Brooklyn Nets for me, and you mentioned that East. The East is going to be so tough this year. I mean, the East is going to be at least 6 teams deep. But I think the thing I love most about what Brooklyn did, they kept the band together. They kept everybody together. This summer, when it looked like the whole thing was going to fall apart, I was out shopping some new teams, and then they decided to bring the whole thing together. So just keeping Kyrie, keeping KD. Ben Simmons is back on the basketball court. We're finally going to get to see what this team can really do when those 3 stars are all out there together. So I just love the fact that they're together. KD still one of the best players in all of basketball. If they could all get out there and play and stay healthy and avoid the drama, I think Brooklyn's going to be one of the last teams standing in the East. So I'm just happy that the team is back and we're finally going to get a chance to see what they can do because we've never seen all 3 guys on the court at the same time. So it's going to be exciting to see what this group can do.
Yeah, for the Brooklyn Nets, I don't care. Whatever. I'm gonna still say it. Whatever. I'm a Sixers fan. No, but yeah, it is interesting that they decided to get the band back together. I'm not really surprised. I don't think any of us is really surprised. But my question is going to always be the same. What will Ben Simmons bring? Will he be aggressive? He's a talented player, but his lack of aggression hurts his teams big time. And I've seen it thus far in a couple games in the playoff. But the positive side is you guys picked up guys like Royce O'Neal, can shoot the 3, very good defender. You got guys also, you still have Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Joe Harris is back and he's healthy.
And then
you guys, a lot of shooters. So to me, it's going to all come down to Ben Simmons. Can he help bring this team together? Because if not, you're going to see exactly what the Boston did last year. You're going to double Kyrie and KD, make Ben, Seth, and everybody else beat you. And can they beat you? Now, my other question is defensively, will they tap in defensively? I know you have Ben Simmons. I know you have Royce O'Neal, but is that enough? So it's going to be interesting. But to my team, of course, you guys see them behind me, the Philadelphia 76ers, always and forever. But I love the fact that we got in, as K-Rock alluded to, brought in PJ Tucker. We went out and got DeAnthony Melton. We went out and got Montrezl Harrell. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but we got a lot of 3-and-D guys, mental toughness, which is what we needed. So we will be really defensive oriented this year. And then also James Harden is finally healthy. He's fully healthy. I've seen in the preseason, he's starting to get some of his quickness back. And if that happens, this is a dangerous team with Joel Embiid and the man in that front court there. So it's definitely going to be interesting. So I can't wait for all 3 of our teams to go at each other because especially those Nets, especially the Nets.
Britt, I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to just say this quick. I know you're talking about Ben, but the value that Ben Simmons is going to bring is going to be on the defensive side of the floor. I think if Brooklyn is counting on him to be some great offensive player, they're in trouble. But defensively, he's going to bring a ton of value to that team. He can guard, I want to say all 5 positions, but at least 1 through 4 for sure. So that's where he's going to make the difference for Brooklyn.
And you know what? I agree with you, Jay. I can't, he's been here with the Sixers for a while. I can't say no. I agree with you. But here's the thing. They're also considering putting him at the 5. Him going up against Joel Embiid, I would like to see that.
Yeah, no chance there.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to work.
There's not a lot of people that have a chance against Embiid.
Yeah, no. Or him going up against, I can't think of the other big man. But some of these guys he's not going to be able to handle, so they have to change it. And he works. But again, it's not the lack of talent that he has. It's his lack of aggressiveness that I have a problem with. And you'll see it, and it's going to frustrate you just like it frustrated us. But I'm hoping he's still young, guys. I'm hoping he goes out and he plays hard because I want to beat them at their full strength. All right, guys.
Hey, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this before the season starts. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I'm going to tell you right now, both of your teams are going to start kind of strong, but I don't see you finishing that way. I'm just going to say that way.
Okay. Hey, write that one down, folks. Write it down.
Oh, I'm gonna remember you said that. K-Ball. But all right, guys, we're gonna roll over.
Recorded.
We're gonna. Oh, so you showing out for the live? That's what it is.
Oh no. I stand by what I say, live or not, recorded, or delayed. That's what I'm going with. I'm just saying, simply saying.
But we're gonna roll over into what's going on with the Warriors and Draymond Green. So Draymond Green has decided to take some time away from the Warriors after an altercation that occurred between him and Jordan Poole during training camp or in practice. In the video, I don't know how TMZ gets all videos, but somehow they get all these videos. Right. But in the video, you can see Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. What I'm saying DeAndre for Draymond Green going back and forth at it. And Draymond Green, can I say this? He cold cocked the mess out of him. He cold cocked him bad. But he cold cocked him. Draymond did apologize to Jordan Poole later on. But what are your guys' thoughts? You know, you guys play on teams. You're both Division I football players. How would you feel if your teammate did that to you? So what were your thoughts on this? K-Walk, I'm coming.
I have a real problem with it. I have a big issue with what Draymond Green did. I thought he crossed the line. I thought it was a sucker punch. Look, I think there's rules to fighting, especially if you're fighting someone that you know, somebody that's considered a friend. I've known K-Walk since we were in 9th grade. If K-Walk and I get into a heated argument, if K-Walk and I are pushing and shoving, I think there is a line you don't cross. And to me, that line is throwing a full-fledged right hand at someone. You just don't do that to a teammate. So I thought it was a total punk move by Draymond Green. I thought it was soft. I thought he took advantage of a young guy who he thought he could get away with it with. I thought it was an absolutely terrible move. Honestly, if I was the Warriors, I would get rid of Draymond Green. I don't think the value that he brings anymore is worth the headache. We see it with receivers in the NFL all the time. When they're super productive, you're willing to put up with some of the drama. When they start to tail off, teams no longer are willing to put up with it. I think that's the territory that Draymond Green is in right now. The value he brings to the court isn't worth the nonsense off the court. I would cut him or trade him. I would get rid of him. I would not have him on the team anymore this year. I thought it was a total punk move, and I no respect at all for something like that. I thought it was awful.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I know teammates go back and forth, banter all the time. Going to have your differences, but it's a different way of handling that. That's supposed to be your brother. You're going to go up and cold cock. Well, yeah, he might. If I feel like he got that, he might go up and punch his brother. But
you know what? Even when brothers fight, there's a line you don't cross.
Yeah,
like you might wrestle, you might push and shove, but you're never throwing an all-out right hand at someone. Yes. Like you just don't do it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I don't know about you, but I hated it.
Yeah, because he I don't know if you guys noticed, but Jordan Poole fell. He fell after that punch. But K-Walk, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Jay, I'm right along with you. I mean, you get into scuffles with teammates and things of that nature, especially in football. Especially the offense going against defense, and it's pushing and shoving there. Maybe an occasional face mask grab or whatever. But that's where you leave it at that. There's no hitting below the belt, if you will, and I'm gonna consider that as hitting below the belt. And because you can't do that on the football field because you're just brought up, as far as punching someone in the face. But Jay, I'm right along with you there, man. It just seemed like Jordan Poole, it just seemed like it was just trash talking going on in a training camp. He came up to him, they were talking. It felt like to me when I saw it, I watched it like over and over again. And I'm trying to see what was Jordan Poole's demeanor before Draymond Green's came over, and vice versa. And I'm like, it's like, did he really say anything? Is Draymond going through something? Did he push that one button? I don't think Jordan Poole said anything. I thought at first that maybe he said something personal and he took it a different way. I just think that Draymond was going through something or is going through something. And, that just, made him wanted to just release his frustration, because that, like you mentioned, Britt, that was a sucker punch. It was a sucker punch. There's no other way to put it. Jordan Poole wasn't expecting that type of altercation. He pushed him. Yes, I get that. And some people say, well, if you push me, I'm gonna push you back or punch you so you don't get an opportunity. Nah, that wasn't like that, man. It's like just get out of my face. It's not that serious. That's how I took Jordan Poole's actions. But Jay, I'm right along with you, man. You can't come back from that. I don't want to hear an apology after that, man. I don't want to hear an apology after that, because it wasn't that serious, unless he was, trying to rob him or hurt his mother or father or a family member. There was no need for that, in my opinion. So then Draymond decided to step away from the team. I just think he was going through something personal, and he took it out on Jordan Poole. And I don't think there's any coming back from that. And I don't see them two getting along, and I don't see them two playing together for this year. Either you got to, get rid of Draymond Green. I think that if you get rid of anyone, you have to get rid of Draymond Green, because, like you said, Jay, he's not worth the headache, to be perfectly honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's sound like Will Smith part 2. No, it's a joke. We love you, Will. We love you. It's all jokes.
Philly, you better love Phil. You better love.
Come on, Will. You Philly. I love you. Love you to death. But no, I don't know what transpired, what was said. But all I know is you can't go off swinging on anybody like that. If you have a problem, handle it differently and try your best to keep it in house. I don't know who released that video, but they need to be fired, because that video should have never been released. That's something that occurred in house. And I honestly feel like he only stepped away because it got released out to the public.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like if that video was never released, I don't think he would have still been there. So I'm going to be honest with you. It was a public humiliation for both of them. So, but hopefully they can come back from it. Hopefully they can heal from it. And we'll see what happens, because the season starts next week. And that team needs both of them. Both
for sure.
of them.
For sure. And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Jay and I, as long as we've known each other 30 plus years, we never had an altercation. I know Jay brought that up a little earlier, but we never had.
I've been in some teammate fights though, but never with K-Walk.
Never with Jay.
You never had an altercation?
No, not with one of them.
K-Walk, you the wide receiver, and
Oh no, not with Jay. Jay's the coolest cat I know. Man.
Right,
Jay's professional as it comes.
We were cool right from the jump.
From the jump. Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
All right, guys. So we're gonna head back into the NFL, because it's been a crazy season this year. Because a lot of teams we thought was at the top of the NFL, they're at the bottom or in the middle of the pack, one or the other. And we've seen some crazy wins. I know the Giants just beat the Packers. The Cowboys just beat the defending Super Bowl champs, the Rams. So it's been a lot of craziness going on this season. But I need to know what is right now. Just right now, we know it changes, but right now after week 5, who are your top 5 NFL teams? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
All right, Britt. Don't hate me on this one, Britt. I'm a Philly fan. I am.
I know you ain't put the Cowboys number 1.
No. I got the Buffalo Bills number 1. I got the Bills number 1. I just think they're the best team in football. I know they're not undefeated, but I do think they're the most complete team in football, offensive, defensively. Big time quarterback and Josh Allen. I just think they're the best team in football. So I got Buffalo at 1. And then I got Kansas City at 2. I was kind of going back and forth between Kansas City and Philly. I gave Kansas City the slight edge. They've been there. They've done it. I like Mahomes more than I like Jalen Hurts. So I got Kansas City at 2. And then I put our Eagles comfortably right there at 3. The only undefeated team in football. They've played extremely well. Things are going to get a little bit tougher as the schedule kind of picks up a little bit. This Dallas game will be a good test, but I've got the Eagles at 3. At 4, K-Walk, I've got your San Francisco 49ers. I know they lost a couple of ball games, But when they're healthy and playing well, as we saw on Sunday, they look like a really good football team. They're going to be a hard out for everyone. If we fast forward about 5 weeks, I think everyone's going to be talking about San Francisco as one of the best teams in the league. So I got them at number 4. And at number 5, I hate to say it, but I got the Dallas Cowboys. I think you got to give them credit for holding that team together. They're 4-1 playing with their backup quarterback, one of the best defenses in football, and they're winning the old school way. They're getting after the opposing team's quarterback. That's something that can last you for 17 weeks. So I got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the 49ers, and those darn Dallas Cowboys at number
Yeah, you gotta respect them. You have to respect them. But what about you, K-Walk? Who's your top 5?
You know what, Jay? We have the same top 5, not necessarily in the same order. So with that being said, I'll go from 5 to 1, and I'll start off where you left off. That's the Cowboys. For everything that you mentioned, I do like this team, especially from the defense. I think they have wow. I might get shot for saying this, but they have a Super Bowl type defense right now, a caliber defense. They really do with Michael Parsons, as far as, what he does and what Dan Quinn is able to put him in the different positions, whether it be, coming off the edge, a la, Lawrence Taylor. I know there's a lot of comparisons there. He can cover as well. He can also cover tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. And then you got Vandish as well in the middle. And then you got Diggs, who I mentioned earlier, who's kind of starting to let the game come to him as opposed to taking over the game and taking too many chances. So I got them at 5. Number 4, I got the Chiefs. I do like the Chiefs. I like the way he looked last night. Came back from a big deficit. Kelsey had an outstanding game. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what can you say? He's a magician, under the helm, and that defense is starting to step up a little bit as well. Number 3, I have my 49ers at number 3. The reason why I have them at 3 is because they're dealing with a lot of health issues, but they're really deep, and that's what helps them. And Jimmy Garoppolo if he can play the way he played on Sunday, I think this team could go really, really far. I'm not just saying that as a 49er fan, but just looking at this team in a whole, I like that. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Bills, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know how to feel about their defense. Their offense with Josh Allen is just unbelievable. I think he's the best in the business doing it right now. Him and Mahomes are 1-2 in my opinion. I go Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but as long as he's under that helm and he has those weapons, man, he's just unbelievable. So I went with 2 with the Bills. Number 1, I went with you guys, Philadelphia Eagles, man. As hard as it for me to say that, I have to go. They're undefeated for a reason. Bill Parcells said your record is what it says you are. That's who you are. Your record, you're 5-0, you're undefeated. No other team can say that in the NFL. So I'm going with them. Again, I can't say it enough, guys. Jalen Hurts is allowing the game to come to him. It's slowing down for him. He's got tremendous weapons as well. Hope Goddard can stay healthy because I think he's the key to their success as well. And that defense as well is for sure with Slay. I think he said that's what he prefers to be called, Slay. So I like him on the back end and that defensive line as well. So those are my 5. Again, Cowboys at 5, Chiefs at 4, 49ers at 3, Bills at 2, and Eagles at 1.
I appreciate you, K-Walk. I appreciate
I didn't do it for you, Britt. I didn't do it for you, though.
Hey.
I'm just saying, it is what it is.
Try to play me hard. You hear that, Jay? He tried to play. He tried to come.
It hurt me to say it. It hurt me to say it, but just like I got to say, the sky is blue, the grass is green. I got to say what it is. What it is.
You know what? For that, I'm taking out your 49ers out my top 5 right now. No. But no. Number 5, my list. Number 5, I had to go with the 49ers. They're 3-2. Like Jay said, they lost a couple games, but that defense is going to start to get together. They still have Debo. I feel like it's going to all start clicking very soon. Kyle Shanahan is still one of the best head coaches to me in the league, and just offensive, one of the best offensive minds in the league as well. Number 4, yes, guys. Surprisingly, yes, I did go with the Dallas Cowboys at number 4. I have to give them their respect. They did beat the Bengals. They also beat the Rams, although those teams to me are struggling and they are not what they were last year. You still have to give them respect. Micah Parson is a dog, and he makes a big difference to this defense because before they had him, this defense wasn't anything. It really wasn't. But he's a huge difference maker with this particular defense. I have to give him their credit. DeMarcus Lawrence, it seemed like he's the old DeMarcus Lawrence done came back, but I have to give him credit, although I can't stand him. Number 3, I put my Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, we're 5-0. There are some things that we are struggling at. We have to be able to score the ball in the second half. We've been struggling there. But outside of that, Jalen Hurts is the lead of this team, and he's showing it on the field. He's making all the right decisions. Accuracy has drastically improved. Mechanics have improved. Offensive line is working great together. Defensive secondaries improved from just last year, a couple of years ago. This is a completely different team, and I am starting to believe. As Eagles fans, it takes us time to really warm up. Like, is this just the beginning of the season that we're going to go through? Are we the real deal? So, but we'll see after this Sunday. Number 2, I had to put the Buffalo Bills on there. Josh Allen is doing his thing. He's a do-it-all quarterback. And the defense, when they're healthy, of course, they're killing it as well. And then number 1, they had 2 amazing comeback victories this year, especially after last night, after a crazy roughing and passer call, which was ridiculous. I had to put Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I had to give them their respect to that.
Wow. Interesting.
Good stuff. That's a good list. I can't complain. We're the same on our Eagles there, so we're slow playing the Eagles right now.
All right, guys. I got one more topic to talk about. Well, it's not really a topic. It's a little, I guess, it's a topic. And then I'm gonna throw it over to Jason for his segment. But it's situational football. I like situational football. I think it's fun. But for those who are new to our show, our channel, make sure you watch us on YouTube, Twitch. We're on all of them now. Facebook, we're on all of them. We're live now.
We're here.
Basically, what situational football is, I give you a real life scenario, situation that occurs in football, a play, and then K-Walk and Jay, as well as myself, will select a player who they think will be best in that particular situation. So I give them 3 players, they select one of them. So this one is today's NFL. These are all players that are currently in the NFL today. Sometimes I do old school players or retired players as well. All right, so the first one, you're on the 5-yard line. The coach has called a running play up the middle to score the touchdown. Who are you putting in at running back to get the touchdown? Your options are Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, or Nick Chubb. K-Walk, I'm coming to you first on this one.
Wow, that's good. This is a good one, Britt. I think I'm going to go with Derrick Henry here. I just like his size. I like his ability to work through them. I'm not too fond of Saquon or Nick Chubb, even though Nick Chubb can hit the hole hard. I'm not a fan of Saquon Barkley getting in the middle of that line. So I'm going to go with Derrick Henry because of his size, his strength, his ability to stiff arm as well. Good one, but yeah, I like Derrick Henry here on the 5 for the touchdown. I'm going Derrick Henry.
Can't be mad at that. That's a strong running back. That's very hard to stop him. But Jay, who you got?
Derrick Henry's a great choice, but I think I'm going to go Nick Chubb. Chubb can do it in between the tackles, but he also has that nice burst when he gets on the outside as well. And he runs hard. Not that Derrick Henry doesn't, but I just feel like Chubb in a one-on-one situation with somebody, if he bounces it, I got my money on Chubb. So I'm going to take Nick Chubb, but you can't go wrong with Derrick Henry either.
No, you can't. Not at all. But I'm going to go with Saquon, guys. Saquon is back. Saquon is healthy. He's strong. He's elusive. To me, he's the best running back when healthy in the NFL because he's a do-it-all back. He'll run through you. He'll jump over you. He'll dodge you. He'll juke you. Whatever he needs to do to get that touchdown, he'll get. Those who are watching us, those who may watch us later, let us know in the comments who you would take for each one of these. Number 2, there's 2 seconds left on the game clock. You're at the 45-yard line. You need a Hail Mary to win the game. to win a conference championship to get to the Super Bowl. Who are you putting in that quarterback? Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. This is from this season. Think about him this season. Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first.
Look, even though it's a Hail Mary and it feels like a lucky play, I still think there's an art to it. There's a little bit of skill involved in the Hail Mary. And I feel like we've just seen Aaron Rodgers do it a little better than everybody else. So I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. You got to keep the ball in play. You can't throw it out of the end zone. It can't be too long, can't be too short. You got to have the right trajectory. I think A-Rod's going to do that better than those other guys. So give me Aaron Rodgers for the Hail Mary.
Not mad at that choice. K-Walk.
You know, I didn't even hear the second and the third choice. I really didn't, because Aaron Rodgers is like Jay said, he's the master at it. So I'm going with Aaron. When you said Aaron Rodgers, I stopped listening after the other choice for the other two choices. But yeah, like Jay alluded to, I mean, there is an art to it. There really is, and he has the ability to do that, man. He's shown it time and time again. I mean, you have your Doug Flutys, occasionally you'll get that. You have your Cordell Stewarts when he was in Colorado. You know, the list goes on and on, but he just does it consistently, and he makes it look like it's a routine play, to be honest with you, a routine throw. So Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, by far.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to make this unanimous, guys. I was going to try Josh Allen, but he doesn't have a history of it. Aaron Rodgers has done this at least, 2 or 3 times. I know once Randall Cobb, the other one I think was Richard Rodgers. He may have had another 1 or 2 in there as well. But like Jay said, it must be some sort of art techniques, something to it, because he gets it right to his player every time. So I'm going to make this unanimous and go with Aaron Rodgers. All right, guys, last one. Last play of the game. You need to get a pick or interception. Yes, I made sure to pick what type of turnover I want. You need to get a pick/interception to win the game. Which cornerback are you calling on? You have Darius Big Play Slay, Jalen Ramsey from the Rams, or J.C. Jackson. Jay, you look like you're thinking a little bit for me, so I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah,
I think I'm going Ramsey, though. I think I'm going Jalen Ramsey. I think he's just probably the best corner out of the bunch, maybe the most complete. They're all good. They're all really good players. They could all probably make the play. But I'm going to put my money on Ramsey. I think he's going to be in the best position to get it done. So give me Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I think for me, I want to go with Darius Slay, but I think Darius Slay will more likely deflect the ball than he'll intercept it. He does have about three interceptions thus far this year. But I think normal Darius Slay, he likes to, just back the ball down because he'll play tight defense for you. But I think for me, I'm gonna go with J.C. Jackson on this one from the Chargers. I think Jalen Ramsey gets burnt too much. And I'm starting to look at it like he might be a little overrated. He got burnt a couple of times against, was it the Cowboys they just played or the game previously? He was burnt quite a few times.
49ers.
That's what it is, 49ers. Yep. So it's like he makes some amazing plays, but then he gets burnt all of a sudden. I still think he's a top tier corner, but he could be a frustrating corner as well. But J.C. Jackson, he's always around the ball. I think last year he had about 8 picks. I know he's hurt early on this season, but he's going to start coming along. To me, I think J.C. Jackson is the best corner right now in the NFL right now. And then I'm putting Darius Slay right behind him. But K-Walk, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the last point of this triangle here, if you will, and then I'm going to go Slay. I like Slay here. I just think that he's the one that I see that can go one-on-one, and like you mentioned, you said that he knocks it down, but I like the way he's there. He gets the ability. He puts himself in a better position to pick it off. To use your term here, Britt. So I'm going to go. I don't know with Jalen Ramsey. He seems to be all over the place. You alluded to the 49ers game. He had, it seemed like he wasn't interested in playing that game. J.C. Jackson, his health issues bother me as far as being on the field enough. So I'm going to go with your guy, big play Slay here, and just like I said, hit on that final point of the triangle. I like big play Slay.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that pick though, Jay. Okay, well, I'm not mad at that pick at all. But all right, guys. Yeah, I guess that's it. I was gonna ask you a fun question, but you know what? I'm gonna throw it to Jay, and if we have some time at the end, then I'll come back. We can come back to the fun question. But you guys, we're gonna head into our commercial break. Jay's gonna take over, and we're still gonna have a lot more fun and talk more sports, of course. But you guys are watching and listening to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Media Network.
CampBlyman.com is an opportunity for my big boys to come get some work. Let's put it all together. We built from the ground up. You know, our cliche is it all starts up front. Once again, start, stance, hand placement, hand separation, get-offs, counter moves, a little bit of everything. Polish up those skills before your middle school or high school season began. Just come work on your craft. Once again, CampBlyman.com.
You're inside Never Had It So Good Sports Radio with Princess Cooper, Tim Moore, David the Duck Riley, Jason Collins, Shoshana Cook, Brittany Jones, Travis McGee, Eric Scott, and Kevin Walker. We make it easy to talk sports.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Sideline Speaks with Brittany Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. This is episode 1, guys. New show, new platform. Everything looks different. We certainly hope you're enjoying it. Let's keep it rolling, guys. I want to talk Coach Prime and Jackson State. I'm sure you guys saw it over the weekend. Eddie Robinson Jr. and Coach Deion Sanders. I don't even want to call it an altercation. I mean, it was just sort of an unfriendly handshake. Eddie Robinson sort of gives him the stiff arm on the way out. And then a lot of banter back and forth about who was right, who was wrong. Okay, Walk, what's your take on this, man? Just your overall thoughts about what went down between Coach Prime and Eddie Robinson Jr.
Yeah, Jay. When I first saw it, I didn't know what it was, man. Obviously, it was something personal. He, you knew he didn't like him for whatever reason. And Coach Prime's reaction was he had no idea what was going on. He's like, "Yeah, what was that about? What's going on?" So I definitely wanted to tune in to see what the post game and then the press conference was about. And we all know, if you don't know, that he said that he's not swag, and he took exception to some of the things that he did in the pregame. But that's what Deion does. What he does, everyone has a pregame ritual, Jay. You know that. Brittany, you know that as a former basketball player. You go through your routines. He took exception to that, meaning Coach Robinson took exception to Coach Prime's pregame routine, if you will. Called him saying he's not swag. He didn't. I guess he was alluded to the fact that he didn't play in the swag or what have you. And Coach Eddie Robinson, no relation to the late great Eddie Robinson, who coached at Grambling State. But Jay, I don't know. I mean, he took exception to it. He should have said something to him, prior to that or right after that. I think he should have said something to him on the side. He shook his hand, like he said that I'm always going to shake your hand after a game. But as far as the hug goes, he stepped over the line with that as far as what took place. But I thought Coach Robinson should have taken a different approach with that and not make it such a big deal as far as doing what he did and in the manner that he did. I thought he should have, if he had a problem with it, right after that, he should have ran over to him or had someone go over to him. Let's meet at, in the end zone or meet over here and said, listen, I take exception to that. And he allowed Coach Prime to apologize if he offended him. He didn't give him that opportunity, but I get where Coach Robinson is coming from, and I get where Deion's coming from, but I think Coach Robinson, just went a little bit too. It made it something. I don't want to say small because it's big to him, but I just thought that it should have been handled differently, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we can't tell people what they should be upset about or what they should be offended about. Obviously, Deion got under his skin for sure, no question. Mm-hmm. But I thought he handled it wrong. If you're going to stiff arm me at the handshake, why not just tell me what's going on? Exactly. We've seen plenty of coaches kind of go at it face to face Why not do it that way rather than just kind of push me off and walk away? So I didn't love that part. And you're right, like K-Walk, about the pregame routine. When my brother was playing for the Bears, I went to a Bears game against the Cowboys in Chicago. And Deion was doing it back then. He came out of the locker room, I remember, and he jogged around the whole field. That's just what he does. So I don't even think it was personal at all. But Britt, what say you? What were your thoughts on this whole thing?
I just thought it was overblown for no reason. Like K-Walk said, you can't tell somebody what to get upset about or what not to be upset over. But I mean, just because he didn't shake your hand prior to the game, who cares? Or he didn't speak to you, who cares? At that point, knowing me, I'm such a competitor as well. I probably don't want to talk to you until after the game neither. So I think he was wrong. I do agree. I think he handled it completely wrong because that could have went left. You shake, Deion goes, or Coach Prime, excuse me, goes to shake your hand and you put your hand on his chest and kind of tug him away. And then Deion, Coach Prime, I got to get used to that, guys. Does the swing move, that could have went completely left, and then you have all the young kids around you, they're college kids, they're looking up to you guys. This is not the NFL, it's completely different. These players are looking up to their coaches and showing them how to be men. They have their dads in their lives, but you're just another male role model for them to look at. So I think it was handled completely wrong. But hopefully, Coach Robinson goes back, he re-evaluates the situation, and him and Coach Prime can sit down and, get over it, because it's not that deep. It's not competitive. They lost. We all know he was sour because his team got destroyed that game. He was a little sour, and I get it. But no, he reacted too much.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because Deion, I've heard him say this before. I don't know exactly what he says, but it's something like, don't let my confidence bring out your insecurities or something. And when I saw this, I thought, man, that's a perfect example. This super confident guy, and maybe Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. feeling a little insecure. I don't know. And it just kind of all boiled over. But I don't know. The other part of this, though, I felt like Deion was playing chess and Eddie Robinson Jr. was playing checkers, because Deion sold the game. Like some of that trash talk throughout the week, some of that stuff he was saying in the media, it brought people to the seats. And I think that's one of the points that Eddie Robinson Jr. missed. Like, just because I'm talking about you or your program or talking about the game, there might be another reason behind it. We're trying to generate as much revenue as possible. So, but yeah, Red, I agree with you. Kind of overhyped. Really made something out of nothing, but hopefully
it's still showtime.
Go over.
Yeah, and then he had the nerve to throw in there. Coach Robinson said they should have kneeled on it at a certain point of the game, at the end of the game. I don't know if you heard of that point or part of it. Yeah, he was just trying to justify him, as you say, his lack of confidence, I guess.
I mean, look, if someone wants to kneel, fine, but I'm never getting mad if they don't. Like, it's my job to stop you. And if I can't and you keep scoring, that's on me.
That's on me, right?
So, all right, guys.
I agree.
Let's keep
Play your game.
Let's go. What'd you say, Britt?
I was gonna say, I agree. Play your game.
Yeah, for real. Let's go back to the NFL, though, guys. I want to talk a little bit more about these Dallas Cowboys. We just can't seem to get away from them. I got to be honest. There's been a couple of times over the last couple weeks, Britt, where I was like, man, did I give the Cowboys up too soon? If I'm just really telling you the truth, Britt, I thought about that a couple times.
Jay, don't make me take your application and rip it up into pieces. I will shred it. And then you really become a Dallas Cowboys. And then when they fail you, don't try to come back. You better stick with this team. You got to stick with this. Stick with us.
I'm hanging in there, but I've peeked at him a couple times, K-Walk. I really have. But
hey, Brett, he may be banned from the NFL period, man. He's not allowed to jump on any bandwagon at this point.
All right, but let's talk about Cooper Rush, guys, because I think he's exceeded everyone's expectations. And now Dak is starting to get healthy. He says he can grip the ball. He's throwing it a little bit. I think the question is, Cowboys on a 4-game winning streak, Britt, Should Cooper Rush stay the starting quarterback once Dak is ready to play, or do you have to go back to Dak Prescott?
This is hard because you're paying Dak so much money. But if he comes back playing how he did in that first game, it's going to be a lot of frustrated fans in Dallas. But Cooper Rush is not this all-world quarterback, but he's doing what he has to do. He's doing enough to get the W's, and that's the most important part. And personally, and I said this 100 times, I love how he manages the game. I love how he spreads the ball out. You know, he's not attached just to any one player. You know, he'll look for CeeDee Lamb. He'll look for the tight end Schultz. He'll look for Michael Gallup is now back. You know, so I'm really, really impressed with Cooper Rush. I would be a little nervous going back to Dak as of right now. I know Dak is the $1 million guy. He's the leader in that locker room. But I just like how Cooper Rush is managing the game right now. I like how he's managing this offense. And I'm not a Dallas fan. I can't stand him, but I got to give Cooper Rush credit. He's accurate. He's very efficient. Granted, he's not throwing the ball but like 15, 16 times a game. But so what? It works for him. So, but like I said, it's going to be interesting if they do keep Cooper Rush in there and he gets more pressure applied to him, because I feel like the Eagles may have a little bit more pressure, especially with our secondary being a little bit better than the previous secondaries they went up against. I'm curious to see how he's going to play when he has blitzes, although Jonathan Gannon doesn't blitz a whole lot. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens when he goes against Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and all those guys. But right now, to answer your question, yes, keep Cooper Rush in there again.
Okay. And you said it. I mean, he's doing a great job managing the game. It's almost like he's forced the Cowboys to go back to their running game and rely on those backs a little bit more and stop trying to be too cute with their offense. But K-Wall, if Dak comes to you, he says, hey, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, what do you do?
I would use my Lee Corso voice and say, not so fast, my friend, because of the fact of the matter is we're going to have to ride this hot hand, Jay, because you alluded to it, Jay, and I was just going to start off with that, Jay, as far as their running game is now existent. It's there now. You can see what you can do. And you know that offense is starting to you look at Cooper Rush as a backup, and what you do is you ask your backups to do what? Not lose the game, manage the game. You don't have to win it, just don't lose it for us. And in order to do that, you have to do two things. You have to play really good defense, which the Cowboys have been doing, and you have to run the ball, which they've been doing as well. And I mentioned it earlier that Ezekiel Elliott is starting to look a little bit more alive, starting to hit those holes the way he's supposed to hit them. And then Tony Pollard as well. We saw that huge run, on Sunday as well. So the more touches you give to Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, the better that defense plays the way it is. I say ride it. With Cooper Rush, man. And I just think that, it's the kind of like that, Wally Pipp. I don't know if you guys know who Wally Pipp is. Wally Pipp is a Yankee way back in the day. He was a starting outfielder for them. He went down with a headache, and then Lou Gehrig came in and took over his spot, and Wally Pipp never saw that position again as a Yankee. And that's how I'm starting to see how Cooper Rush. I'm not saying Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott, but he is better for this particular team because of the fact of the matter is the way they want to orchestrate this offense. But I say stay with Rush. Stay with the Rush hour.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I think like playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys almost automatically inflates like how good you really are. Like, I'm not saying Dak's not a good quarterback,
right?
But he's not great. Like, no one has him in their like NFL elite. And if he was the quarterback for like the Detroit Lions or something, I don't think anyone would ever even talk about him. But
exactly.
When you play for the Cowboys, it sort of elevates you a little bit. So I do think he's better than Cooper Rush. I just wonder, like, how much better is he really than Cooper Rush? So that'll be interesting to keep your eyes on. Would you say, Britt?
Exactly. Your record
4-0.
You are what your record says you are.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. All right, guys, look, one of the most, I don't know what you want to call it, disappointing, egregious, ridiculous calls over the weekend was the roughing the passer call in the Falcons-Bucks game. Tom Brady gets sacked, which to me looked like a routine sack, and then the flags come out. Britt, what say you about that roughing the passer call? And what does the NFL need to do about this? I thought it was ridiculous, but what say you?
Ridiculous is, I don't know if that's the word. I don't know what to call it. It was bad. It was bad. It was horrendous, horrible, horrific, whatever else I could come up with. But that could have been a game changer. Because at that point in the game, I think the Falcons get the ball back. They're down by 6, I believe. They had momentum going their way. The game was basically going their way. They could have went down and scored a touchdown, won the game. But because of that completely ended the game. And we're seeing it again last night with Chris Jones, the Chiefs pass rusher, Chris Jones against I can't think of their quarterback, Derek Carr against the Raiders, Derek Carr. Same thing. I don't know what the refs are thinking. That is textbook. That is a textbook sack. He didn't go low. He didn't go high. He hit him right there in the middle, tackled him. Okay, he swung him around, but that's a 300-pound body swinging. He can't control that going that fast. I don't know what else they will want these defensive players to do. At this point, it's like the quarterbacks need to go play golf. At this point, just go play golf. Are they playing football or are they playing golf? Somebody please answer that, because I don't know. It's like, what do you do? And I feel for the defensive players because it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I just feel like that's going to cost somebody the game going down the line in the future or even in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. The rest got to get it together. It's still early in the season. They have to get these calls right. But that was not.
I think we're all, because I know we've talked about this kind of stuff before. All of us are in favor of player safety.
Yeah.
But like you alluded to, they keep making that target smaller and smaller. I can't hit you high anymore.
Yeah.
I can't hit you low anymore. Like the window for where a defender can actually hit you, it just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Yeah. And I get it. Like they don't want people slamming people to the ground. Fine, I get it. But to me, that didn't look like that this weekend, K-Walk. What say you? What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I mean, Britt hit on a lot of the points I was going to make. I mean, it just seems like at this point, you're just going to have to, have these guys play with pillows and blankets, just lay them down, lay the pillow down and put the blanket on top of them, make sure they're okay before you get to tackle these guys. Because of the fact of the matter is you can't hit them anywhere, Jay. You can't go low. You can't go high. You can't slam them to the ground. It's just a fine. I mean, it's just a thin line. I don't even know if there's a line anymore. I just think it's all the discretion of the ref. That was actually the worst I've seen. And I get it. We get it. Like you said, Jay, we're all for player safety. But that is just that didn't make any sense. And I don't know if they talked to the refs. I don't think they talked to the refs after the game. I think that's an NFL rule that they don't talk about it. But I would really love to hear the rationale of that ref who made that call. And they didn't come together. And if they did come together, they stuck by that. Like, come on now. And I think that one of the players, I forget who it was, came out and said, listen, let's go back to the reviewing of quarterback, roughing the passer. Let's go back to reviewing those calls. I think that's what we're going to have to go with, to be perfectly honest with you, because, you have these guys who are the review guys, Gene guy, those guys looking at this. And I don't know where that is. And then Troy Aikman at this point, he's in trouble with saying what he said as far as, putting dresses on these quarterbacks. And he's a former quarterback. So if he's saying it for, then there's an issue there. So yeah, just outrageous, man. In my opinion, I just think that if you're going to do anything, just put flags on these guys, let them go pull them. And then, you're down, and that's it. That's the bottom line, because it's rough to watch. It really is.
Yeah. And K-Walk, that ref did come out and say, like, what he saw was a guy grabbing someone and throwing them to the ground. What he should have said was, I got it wrong. That's
I got it wrong.
He should have said.
Thank you.
But Britt, like, we all saw a couple weeks ago, Tua get hit, head injury, then come back just a few days later, really awful situation on the field. Do you think any of these quick roughing the passer calls have anything to do with what we saw happen to Tua and just trying to prevent concussions and head injuries? I'm saying, like, do you almost feel like maybe they talked to the refs and said, hey, we've got to protect these guys after what happened to Tua? Let's call it even tighter than what we were calling it before.
If that's what they feel, if that's what they said, that's a problem to me, because the Tua situation was on the fault of the Dolphins organization and the concussion consultant, or that I forgot what he's called, trauma something consultant, because you allowed him to go back into the game. Not only did you allow him to go back into the game, then you allow him to play the next game, which wasn't even a full week. They played from Sunday to Thursday. Yeah. So that's their fault. I hope they didn't go to these refs and say that, because that's, unfortunately, it's the part of the game. This is a violent sport. This is not, like I said, it's not golf. This is not baseball. This is not bowling. This is a violent contact sport, and I like the fact that they are willing to make the necessary changes. But at what point do you just have to sit and say, we can only change but so far, because first and foremost, it's not fair to the defense. The defense can't play defense. At this point, you might as well just take the defense off the field and have the offense just go, 100 yards to see who gets there the fastest. I have no idea. Like, I don't know what you're going to do. Yeah. I really hope that wasn't the situation. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that question. I don't think Tua's situation impacted the calls. I just think both these refs made the wrong call, and I don't know what they were looking at.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation because, it's a fine line. You want to protect your players, especially quarterbacks, because let's be honest, if you get a bunch of starting quarterbacks out, it hurts the NFL product. It just does. So I get what they're trying to do, but you have to play football as well. So it's just a really fine line between protecting the quarterbacks, but not completely changing the game. But K-Walk, do you think any of the attention from Tua, that was a national story, not just a sports story. Right. That was on all kinds of shows. Do you think that has anything to do with the way that they're calling some of these roughing the passer calls?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little different way than Britt did. I think it does. I think that, that they made it a priority to keep these players healthy, not just the quarterbacks, but any players. And you see when, I think it was Monday night with the Colts or whatever. I forget what day, when Hines went down, Naaman Hines went down. He immediately went out. He passed the protocol, but they said that he went through protocol. He passed the test, but they have a new thing that's implemented with the no-go. So once you go into that, then you're not able to go back into the game. But yeah, Jay, I definitely think it has a lot to do with that, because no one wants to see that happen again, because that was a scary situation when we saw Tua.
For sure.
His hands seizing up the way that they did. You knew it was a neurology, a brain injury. You knew that, and then immediately you think, at least my thoughts went back to that Sunday game, like Brent alluded to, against the Bills. So yeah, I do think that they're making a huge focus, putting a huge focus on this and making these guys aware of this. And listen, if they go down in a certain way, it's something new, Jay, that they just talked about. I'm pretty sure they just talked about in the last week. So the ref probably didn't have. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here and say that he didn't have enough time to see if that was an egregious tackle, if he threw him down. He saw it as he tackled him unnecessarily. That's football. I don't know how you do that, but nonetheless, I do think it has a lot to do with that, Jay. I think they're focusing on that, and they don't want to see that again from any player, especially a Tom Brady, GOAT. They definitely don't want to see that from him. So yeah, I definitely think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, we're all in favor of keeping the players safe. But how do you do that without interfering with the competition? And I feel like that call against Brady this weekend, that interfered with the Falcons' chance to win the game. Yeah. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but that call definitely affected the game. Sure. All right, guys, let's move on. We're getting close to the end here, so let's talk a little bit quickly about some college football. You guys know I love it. Some huge games this weekend.
Yes.
Let's talk about Tennessee and Alabama. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I think Tennessee beats Alabama this weekend. I think they have the offense to do it. Alabama has not looked great the last couple of weeks. Bryce Young, is he playing? Is he not? He's got the banged up shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, Walk, I'll start with you here. Let's just kind of quick because we got a couple of things to get to. But what do you think? Can Tennessee get it done against Bama?
Yeah, definitely, Jay. I like this team. I like this offense. I like Tennessee as a whole. I think this is the only time that you can legally put money on and give money put money on a hooker. So I like Hendon Hooker here. So so I definitely think that he is he's going to be the difference maker here.
Wait,
and
rewind that.
I don't know what Bryce Young. Well, I don't know what Bryce Young health is like, but nonetheless, I do like Tennessee here for sure. I think we're going to see Alabama streak in here, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, for people who don't follow Tennessee football, Hendon Hooker is the starting quarterback for Tennessee. Just so you guys know, K-Walk is not out in these streets. He's talking about the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers. But go ahead, take it away. What say you about this one?
Wait, that threw me off. That's the only time you can put money on the hooker. Nice. Yeah. I'm gonna start using that line. That's a good one. I think I just lost my train of thought for a second. Wait a minute. That might go viral, guys. That one might go viral. No. This one's hard because it's Alabama. It's hard to go against Nick Saban, because every year this is a powerhouse football team. But I think Bryce Harper is hurt. I'm sorry, not Bryce Harper, Bryce Young. Sorry, I was watching the Phillies game earlier. Bryce Young, quarterback Bryce Young is hurt. They say he may play, but we don't know how healthy he will be. And if he can't play, then you got to depend on the backup quarterback. And I know it is Alabama. They produce quarterbacks left and right. But I think that will give Tennessee, its opportunity to take over this game. I just think without Bryce Young being 100%, I don't think this team is as strong as it was in years past. They've actually been struggling even with a healthy Bryce Young, with the receivers and whatnot. So I'm going to go out on a limb. And like I say, should never go against Nick Saban. And I may be crazy for doing this, but I'm going to go against Nick Saban. And then like K-Walk said, I'm going to put my money on the hooker. And I'm going to go with Tennessee. I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, definitely. And look, you're right. It's hard to pick against Saban. The game is at Tennessee. It's going to be 100,000 fans. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I'm going to take Tennessee. But look, we all could be wrong about this. Bama might just be Bama, but I like Tennessee. All right, last college game, guys. My Penn State Nittany Lions going to Ann Arbor to play the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan, number 5 team in the country. But to me, they look beatable. I mean, yes, they're a good team, but I don't feel this isn't Ohio State. I feel like they are beatable. But K-Walk, what say you? Can my Nittany Lions get it done this weekend?
Can they, Jay? Yes. Will they? I don't know. This is going to be a really good game. I'm going to be tuned into this, man. What time is the game? 3:30? 12. You know what, man? I'm going to be on the air, man. So hopefully I'm going to be there going down to Atlanta. So hopefully I can catch some of this game when I get off. But I like this team, man. I like the Nittany Lions. I like what Sean Clifford brings to the table. I love Singleton and his way he runs the ball. And I love Diaz, the defensive coordinator, man. If this was in Happy Valley, Jay, I'm taking the Nittany Lions hands down. But since they're playing in the big house, I'm going to go with McCarthy there, and just by a slight one. This game, I can see this game going to overtime, but I'm going to give them a slight edge to Michigan here. I hate to go against your Nittany Lions, even though they beat me up 3 years in a row as I played when I was at school. But nonetheless, I like Michigan in a close one, though.
Yeah, man. Look, it's hard to pick against the home team in close games, so I can't even be mad at that. But Britt, what say you? Come
Is
on,
your
Britt.
quarterback back? Sean Clifford playing? Is it Sean
He's
Clifford,
back.
right?
He is back. Yes.
Okay, so he's back. So passing game improved. I think last couple weeks your running game's improved. You know, Penn State has always been a
Got some good
big
running
running
backs for
team.
sure.
Yes.
My thing is, how will this offensive line hold up against Michigan's defensive line? Because Michigan doesn't have a bad defense, not at
Good
all.
call.
They're 5-0
Good
for a
call.
reason, so they don't have a bad defense. So that will be my only concern. But I hate Michigan. Y'all know my team is Ohio State. I'm a Buckeye through and through. Yeah, I know.
Well, you have to hate Penn State too.
It's hard for that one because it's home. It's hard because it's home. So I try to support. I got
you.
But I'm still a Buckeye through and through. I'm rooting for Buckeyes all the way. So I don't like both these teams, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna go with Penn State, and they better not let me down. I feel like Michigan's gonna win this one, but I'm gonna go with Penn State because I don't like Michigan whatsoever. Them Wolverines can go somewhere. So y'all better cut their throats off. So I'm gonna go with Penn State on this one.
It's gonna be a good one, man.
It's going to be tough. I like it. It's a noon game, so that's the great noon game. Then Tennessee, Alabama at 3:30. Then hopefully we have another good one at 7:30. So y'all know where I'll be all Saturday afternoon. You know what?
Hey Jay, and if Penn State wins this game, top 5 without question. Top 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think so for sure. All right, guys, let's jump into this new segment here. We're winding down, just a couple more things to get to, but this is that new segment, guys, where you're just going to have 1 minute to rant. We can kind of call it just get things off your chest, whatever it is in the sports world that's kind of got you a little bit irritated, that kind of has you feeling like you need to express yourself. You only get 1 minute on the timer, though, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 1 minute rant. Your chance to just let it fly, get something off your chest. You guys can see the little timer in the left-hand corner there, so you can keep an eye on your minute, and I'll stop you once your minute is up. But K-Walk, I'm going to start with you, man. I can't wait to see what you're ranting about this week. You got 1 minute to get it off your chest. Take it away, K-Walk.
You know what, Jay? We kind of alluded to it, man, and it's the referees in the NFL right now. Not just so much the pass interference. I mean, the roughing the passer, but there are pass interference calls that are being called that should not be called. These guys seem like they went into this particular season. They had a meeting, with the head of referees, and these guys simply said, "Listen, we gotta, make this, it's a penalty quota, if you will." That's how I feel like now. If you don't throw enough flags, then you're not filling your quota, and you're not going to get enough games to ref. That's how I'm feeling right now. I think these guys should just go back to playing. I don't want to say old-fashioned football, but some of the football is starting to, look like it's going to be what the Pro Bowl is going to start to look like, flag football. Don't want to see that. I love flag football. Don't get me wrong. Nothing against that. There's great athletes who play that. But at this time, referees in the NFL, please keep some of these penalties in your pocket. Keep some of these flags in your pocket. Please turn away. Say you didn't see that. You didn't see it.
I think everyone would agree with you on that one, though, K-Walk. I think everyone would agree with you. All right, Britt, I think I'm going to go next, and then we'll save yours for last. I had a different one ready, but since we were talking about Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, I'm going to change mine on the fly. I'm going to rant about a college fight that I got in with a teammate. And he crossed the line, K-Walk. This man crossed the line. You know how football fights are. You're pushing, you're shoving, you're grabbing a face mask. So, there's a play, big offensive lineman, over 300 pounds. I'm not going to say his name because he might be watching. We are friends. The whistle's blowing. He's still blocking me. I'm pushing, I'm shoving. So I go to his face mask. I put my hand on his face mask, start bending his head back, right? Okay. This dude bites me, K-Walk. He bit my finger. He crossed the line in a football fight. He bit my thumb because I was pushing his face mask back, and he bit my thumb, man.
What?
I'm ranting about him. I'm not going to call his name. We're cool. We're good. But he crossed the line in a football fight and bit my finger, man. So just another Draymond Green type of move. He took it too far. So that's my rant for tonight. football fight got my finger bit. I still got a little mark on that thumb too where he bit me, y'all.
All right.
For real.
All right, Mike, man, whatever your name is, Iron Mike Tyson. All right, man.
I'm telling you.
Like, what? Biting people's
Jay,
fingers?
I didn't know you had that in you, bro. I didn't know you had that in you.
Man, I used to mix it up with some of those boys, K-Walk. I did not care at all. I did not care at all.
Love it.
But all right, Britt, it's on you. Last rant of the night. You got 1 minute. Whatever's on your heart, go ahead and get it off your chest, Britt. What's your rant?
Well, K-Walk kind of stole mine, but you know what? I'm going to go with a fly here. I'm going to make this one a little different. It's going to be a rivalry rant. My time started, I started up. Ready? I got to come back. NBA seasons get ready to start. And I'm looking at you. Dead serious. Anybody who's looking and you a Nets fan, okay? Because you sound like the Dallas Cowboys right now, talking about you gonna win the championship. Prove it first. Yeah, in your history, NBA history, you ain't done nothing yet. Yeah, you got KD. Yeah, you got Kyrie. Oh, but now you got Ben Simmons. You think you're going to win the championship. Prove it. He got to show up first. He need to show up and show out. And until I see that, I don't believe nothing that this team is putting out there yet. Yes, you're talented. You got all the talent in the world. But right now, your talent looks disgraceful. I'm sorry. I'm going to call all y'all out because you're reminding me of the Dallas Cowboys fans. All of a sudden, you up on this pedestal. Oh, we're going to win a championship. We're going to win a championship. Have you even had a championship in your history? Oh, I'm tired of it. Y'all turning into them. Dallas Cowboys Part 2. This is getting on my nerves. All right, I'm
time. man, I got to listen. I felt like that was directed right at me. I felt all
I thought it was, Jay. I thought it was too.
But
no, not just you, Jay. The Nets fan that's in every Sixers community talking about we got the championship this year.
Even
you gotta
though
have a team to show up first.
Even though I didn't like the rant, the content of it, that was a great rant, Brett. Yeah. That was really good. That was fantastic. That was really good. All right, y'all, let's get ready to wrap it up. But before we go, we got to do our Who's Ballin' segment every week. Doesn't matter, basketball, football, baseball, whatever you want to do. Pick out a player, pick out a team. Tell us who's been balling. Britt, I'll start with you on this one. Who you got this week? Who's balling?
I got to go. Let's see if I could get him right. Yep, I'm on the right side. I got to point out the Phillies today. So I got to shout out the Philadelphia Phillies superstar player, Bryce Harper. I had to shout him out. He was 3 for 3, scored 1 run. I think he hit over 100. There you go. He hit 100% today, which is amazing. And a 7-6 victory against the Atlantic Braves in Atlanta to go up 1-0 in a 7-game series. So Bryce Harper was balling. Let's go. Let's go, Phillies.
Absolutely. Go Phillies. Go Phillies. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to college football. I'm going to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Marvin Harrison Jr. This guy has been ridiculous this year. He's got 31 receptions, over 500 yards, 9 touchdowns. And some of the catches that he's made, I mean, it's just been ridiculous. So Marvin Harrison Jr. gets my Who's Ballin'. This guy has been absolutely ridiculous, straight balling. K-Walk, who you got?
Hey, I got my man. You know, I was going to go with a different route, but after watching last night's game, I'm going to go with Mr. Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. Outstanding game last night. He had 7 catches. You know what? He only had 25 yards, but 4 of them was for touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns last night in that 1-point win over the Raiders. But I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. I think he's I want to say Kittle's the best tight end right now, but since Garoppolo can't get him the ball as much as he needs to, and Kelce and Mahomes can get the ball to Kelce as much as he needs to, I'm going to go with Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce is balling.
All right, good stuff. Good stuff there. All right, guys, the first show was in the books. That was a lot of fun. But before we go, Britt, tell the people where can they find you on social media, and what are you? Well, it's not even that close to the weekend, Britt. So just let the people know where they can find you on social media if they want to connect.
I always do throughout the week. Throughout the week is fine.
Yeah.
But watching the Philadelphia Phillies, of course, playoff baseball. And then, of course, rolling right into is Dallas week, Eagles Dallas week. So it's a big week here in South Jersey, Philadelphia area. But you guys can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Is there any other ones? No. At Brittany Monique is right there on my screen. And then Facebook, Brittany Jones.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Britt. Looking forward to Eagles Cowboys. And as we talked about earlier, I can't wait for Penn State, Michigan. I just hope Penn State wins, because if they lose, it kind of ruins the rest of your day. You don't want to watch any more football. So especially a noon game, I need them to win that game. But you guys can find me on social media at Jason Talk Sports. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Jason Talk Sports. K-Walk, what about you?
Yeah, I'm just like you guys, man. I'm watching the Yankees. Yankees are down 1-0 right now to the Cleveland Guardians. So I have my Yankee gear, so I'm ready to go for watching them this playoff series. Hopefully they don't pull a Met, if you will. But also looking forward to the college football college football weekend. Like you mentioned, Jay, the Penn State Michigan game is going to be one I'm dialed in on. Also the LSU and Florida game, my Gators there. Also going to be in Atlanta this weekend with my son. Now we're going to be there in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium with the 49ers against my 49ers. So looking forward to that for sure. As far as where you can catch me at, ladies and gentlemen, Instagram, Kevin.Walker72, Twitter at Kevin Walker 142, and Facebook Kevin Walker. I am on TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. I think I might start posting some of these right here. So I'm going to be at Kevin Walker 72 for sure.
All right, good stuff, guys. All right, we appreciate everyone for listening to the SideLine Speaks. We'll be live every Tuesday at 7 p.m., so make sure you tune in. Guys, check out our YouTube page, the SideLine Speaks. Give us a like, make some comments. Let us know what you thought about the show. We're always looking to make it better, so let us know what you thought about the show. For Brittany Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you next week.